have your attention? You continue to enjoy your meal. We have 3 girls from our church that are going to share some songs with you tonight. And so while you're eating, they're going to entertain you. So I believe the first one we have is Bella. Where are you, Bella? Okay, this is our pastor's daughter, Bella, and she's going to sing for us tonight. And by the way, Christy, wave back there. There's pastor's wife, Christy Watkins. So anyway, we're happy they're here. Okay, Bella. Yeah, there's Peyton back there too, another daughter. Then they have another one, and she's somewhere else, you know. Yeah, Stillwater, yeah. By the way, the lady on the piano that doesn't know when to stop, huh? She's our president. This is Ann Dillon, and we're happy to have her. She was instrumental in telling everybody what they needed to do for tonight, so there she is. She's behind the piano. Okay, the next one we have is Lila. Okay, Lila Schmidt, and her daddy is our technician, and by the way, this is going viral tonight. We're streaming this, so Brody will be able to watch this later on YouTube, guys, so you can see it. Okay, are you ready, Lila? All right. Lila. That was wonderful. That was wonderful. Okay, our next person is Emma Armstrong. Where is Emma? Here she comes. Emma's mother is our youth director on Wednesday nights, and she has a whole crew of kids that come in on Wednesday nights. And of course, she brings her own because she has 7 of them. But she's not here tonight because one of the little ones is sick. So Emma's here to share a beautiful number with us. Okay.
What happened to you? I hear it all the time. They tell me something's different in my words and in my eyes. What happened to you? They see it on my face. They've got a million questions. All that I can say is Jesus happened in the blink of an eye. Every part of my life was changed. Jesus happened like a thief in the night. He started taking the lies away, and all my sin was forgiven. The moment I met His grace, that's when I started living. And all that my heart can say is Jesus happened. What happened to you? I smile every time. I tell them it's a miracle, like water into wine, 'cause everything's new. Oh, the old is dead and gone. Redemption is my story. Resurrection is my song. Jesus happened in the blink of an eye. Every part of my life was changed. Jesus happened like a thief in the night. He started taking the lies away, and all my sin was forgiven. The moment I met His grace, that's when I started living. And all that my heart can say is Jesus happened. The grave gave way to life everlasting. I'm found, I'm free, raised up from the ashes. Jesus happened in the blink of an eye. Every part of my life was changed. Jesus happened like a thief in the night. He started taking the lies away, and all my sin was forgiven. The moment I met His grace, that's when I started living. And all that my heart can say is Jesus happened. Jesus happened. And all that my heart can say is Jesus happened.
Thank you, Emma. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. We're really blessed to have these young girls here with us tonight to share their ministry and music. So, okay, without further ado, we're going to have Peggy. Peggy Goodrich came to us from Enid. Probably a lot of you read her articles in the paper on Wednesday. I got the paper today, and there's her picture right on the front page saying that she's going to have an article tomorrow, so be sure to grab Enid Morning News tomorrow and read Peggy's articles. They're really fun. I asked Peggy, for a little resume or whatever, and she said, I'll tell you about it while I'm talking. So we're just going to turn it over to Peggy now and give her food for thought tonight.
Well, thank you very much. I hope you're not expecting a speaker, because I'm not a speaker, I'm a talker, and there's a lot of difference in that. But I do like I like food, and I like wonderful people like you, and the music was wonderful. What a hard act to follow. And I asked Ann, now if you can't hear me, well, raise your hand.
They'll hear you now.
Will they hear me outside?
Yes, they will.
Thank you. I don't even know what I was saying. And this is on TV, and here I am just blubbering. So anyway, well, I know. I called Ann this afternoon, and I said, "How long do you want me to talk? About 20 minutes or 3 hours?" And she said, I don't know, maybe better, more like 20 minutes. But so if I get too long and I see people taking naps or leaving, I'll shut up, okay? This all started when my granddaughter gave me a little book for Christmas, and it said, "Grandma, tell me your memories." And so I just started writing my memories. I mean, well, partly because I can't remember things very well, and then I can look back and look. But my grandmother wrote a book, and I helped her, and it was called "Where There Was Will, There's a Way." And Grandpa's name was Will, and it was so fun to write her memories of when she came to Oklahoma and drove a hack, which is like a little buggy, in a wagon train. And anyway, that just kind of, when I finished with Grandma's book, I thought, oh, I gotta keep writing. So anyway, this is kind of what got me started. And then when I started writing for the paper, they had two ladies that had just retired, something Bibi, and I don't know who the other girl was. She had dark hair and walked in, a real sweet lady. But anyway, and so the editor of the paper sat in front of me in church, and I said, "What are you going to do?" And he said, "I have no idea." And I said, "I write." And he said, "Oh, what about?" And I said, "Oh, just memories and things." And he said, "Well, why don't you bring me in a few of your articles, and we'll have a meeting in a couple of weeks, and I'll call you back and let you know." So I already had some that, all I have to do is just take them down there, because I always put a recipe with them of some of Grandma's or Mama's or something. Anyway, I took them down there, and he called me that evening, and he said, "You've written your first 4 articles." And I was so thrilled. But we never talked about money. I didn't fill out an application. I don't have any contract. But he already had them, and they sent me a check. And it made me feel so wonderful that I just have written. Since 1993, I have written. And the only way I can remember from week to week is when I have a thought, which is not real often. But I write it on a little card and put it in a little recipe box. And I call it my crumbs of food for thought. So I never come up with a week that I can't, they say you just have what is it they call when you go to a typewriter and you just can't come up with anything? Well, it may not be good, but I come up with something. But the little book that I wrote, and then that I wrote for Jamie about my memories, ended up being in this book, because I learned so much writing this book. I thought I wrote them. I own the columns. No, I don't. They belong to the paper, and they're copywritten in the Enid News and Eagle. And even the picture on the back, which, boy, I wish I looked like that. But anyway, even the picture is copywritten, and I had to get written permission to use my own picture on my own book, and I still can't believe all that. But anyway, it was just a fun book to do, and I've had a lot of fun doing it. If you want to look at it, well, come up later, and you can look at all this stuff. Okay, now some of you have heard this speech before. I have 3 speeches, and I go everywhere to make them. And so tonight you get this one instead of the one about hats and things. But for those that have seen me before, don't tell me what this is. But someone guess what this is.
Rug beater.
Pardon?
Rug beater.
No. Okay, somebody that's heard me before. You're forgotten. They didn't pay attention. I can tell. It's to smooth a feather bed. And one of the first memories I have is going to Grandma's house, and on her upstairs in the little south bedroom was where she had this little bed, and I thought it was just for me, but I'm sure she had other people sleep in it, but it was a feather bed, and you couldn't smooth a feather bed, because as soon as you lean on it, it goes down, and she would smooth it with this. And so, anyway, to me that was just wonderful, and Grandma said, if you sleep in the feather bed, you'll never be struck by lightning. and here I stand. So see, I had a smart grandma. Well, another thing that Grandma had was when you got into her bed, she covered you with this quilt. And let me tell you, when you got in there that bed, and you didn't get up and run around. You stayed in bed. These quilts were so heavy. This is a pre-Civil War quilt that came in a covered wagon to Indian Territory where Grandma landed, I guess where they staked the claim. And it has hand-carded, hand-carded cotton in it. And it's just patch upon patch. And when Grandma gave this to me, Grandma said, I know it's an ugly old quilt, but there's a lot of warmth left in it. Do you know where the warmth came from? From Grandma. And from the stories that Grandma told, because they came in October. I bet it was cold in October, and I bet it was cold in a buggy. I was sleeping in a buggy. But anyway, so she gave me this, and it's just one of my greatest treasures. Feel free to touch it. The museums have wanted it in their museums. I don't want it in there. I want it so I can take it out and look at it and smell it and feel it. So anyway, that's this is not going to be a quilt show, but I've got one other quilt to show you. When the night before I was 4 years old, my grandma on the other side, my mama's side, died. And Mama came in and said, we won't be able to celebrate your birthday tomorrow because Grandma just died. Well, Grandma had already made this quilt for me for my 4th birthday for a dolly quilt. And this is one of my greatest treasures. And I'm sure, I mean, it's just nothing, but it's everything. And the thing I try to remember is we need to make memories like this. We need to. My house is full of stuff, and everything has a story. In fact, I have a little sampler in my house that said, everything in this house has a story that makes me smile. And I don't want a decorator to do my house. I want to put my things in that I love. So this is one of the things that I love. Get notes up here. I'll leave something out. How we remember our past shapes our lives. And what we do with our kids is shaping their lives. And it bothers me that these kids always, that these kids always have their nose in a phone. You know, just going like, I don't know how they do it, I can't do that. But my little great-granddaughter came to spend 2 weeks with me before school started, and she played with her phone. And she can contact her little friends, and that's good. But I said, Landry, there's more to life than just calling your phones. So you have an hour a day to call your little friends and see how they're doing and tell them what you're doing. But if you're just going to play on your phone, then you might as well have stayed home. And that was the end of the phone, and she and I did everything. Oh, but that'd take the whole 2 hours if I told her how much fun we had. But anyway, the memories that I had gave me my whole philosophy of life. And I've had a wonderful life. But I was raised during an era that was just the end of the Depression and World War II. And we had no money. And when we say now, oh, I'm out of money, no, we didn't have money. My daddy worked for the WPA, because he had a team of mules, and he had I think they called it a slip that they built pond dams and things with. And Daddy would walk home on Wednesday night, which was 20 miles after dark, through the pastures to check on his family, and would go back early the next morning. And then on Saturday, after he had worked all day, he would walk back that 20 miles to check on his family and be with us on Sunday for church. And then early, and I mean early, we didn't even see him on Monday mornings, he would walk back to work. That was the only cash we had other than selling eggs and cream and that sort of thing. But basically, we had no money. We had to live off the land. But do you know, I was grown before I realized how really poor we were. That there was no, you know, They didn't pay us $15 to take the trash out, you know, like we have to now with kids, but it's just amazing to me how wonderful memories I have when there was no money involved, none whatsoever. Well, I told you about the old quilts, and that's families with the birthday quilt, and then I want to show you one of my dearest treasures. No, I'll read to you now in my book. It's the first one I wrote. If I can find the page. Okay, no, that's the acknowledgement. Oh, I was moving some stuff recently and found Margaret, my rag doll lovingly made from a flour sack during the Depression. Her yarn hair is molting. She has the limber neck, but she smiled when she saw me and her eyes were as bright as ever. We talked about old times and the fun we had together before I carefully folded her in a towel and placed her back in the box. She will come to visit again at Christmas because I've always invited her to come and sit under my Christmas tree. Well, I want you to meet Margaret. Now, she's just like now poor Margaret, I think she's had chemotherapy because she has a hair problem. But look how bright her eyes are. And I can't tell this to all groups, but I used to call her my drag doll. It doesn't mean the same thing now that it used to. But anyway, this is Margaret, and I still have the same little slip that Mother made for her, but then I made another little dress because it was kind of pathetic the way she looked. But you know what? I have taken this to many churches, and I've talked to my kids when I was teaching, that we need to include people like this that are different, that they still have a lot of love, and they can still give a lot of love, even if they don't look like much. They're kind of pathetic looking. But this is my Margaret, so I'm glad you got to meet her tonight. And then another doll that I have was Grandma's doll. And we played with this doll. She had a leather body, I think. And we finally just ended up, we had nothing but the head. Well, I just couldn't just throw the head away, so I made it. She's kind of dusty right now, but I made an angel. I washed her, and all the color came off her hair, and I think her hair, if I remember right, was kind of a black. But anyway, so now she's just an angel, and she's on my Christmas tree every year. But this is Isabella. So she had a lot of wear, because I think she probably came on the covered wagon. Well, the next thing after families was play. And I feel so honored that my niece is here to hear me tonight, because this was her mama and I were the very best of friends. She was 18 months older than I was. Well, she still is. We just lie about all of that now. But anyway, Marianne and I were inseparable, and Mother said we never argued. If we were in trouble, we were in trouble together. If we were good together. But she and I had so much fun, and we just, everything. Well, this was our little dish that, actually what it is an ironstone dish, and I think it's considered a honey dish, probably priceless now. But these were our buttons. No, these were our cookies. They're cut off of an old coat, and this was a bomb. And so we played party with these wonderful things. Someday, Diana, this will be yours. I mean, not Diana, Dina. Diana's her mama. But someday, this will be yours, darling, and you can have fun and parties with it. But she's just getting over COVID, and I've talked to her every day, but I don't talk about her ailments and things, because that'd take all day. But I do talk about the things we used to do when we played. And I was telling someone here this evening, I gave away my recipe for, I think it was, wasn't it you that I told about the recipe for sheep shower wine? Was it you? Okay, it was Dina that I gave my recipe. When we were little, do you know what, they're not showers, they're sorrels. Do you know what sheep sorrels are? Well, anyway, we made wine, and we'd get this glass, this jar, and we'd rinse it off at the pump so it was real clean. And then we would gather sheep showers, we called them, and fill that jar and pack it down. And then we'd go in the house and put sugar in it. and then we'd fill it full of water, and then we'd put the lid on tight, and then we would bury it. Now, we'd bury it, 4, 6, 8, and not real deep, because, you know, and then we'd leave it there, maybe a couple of hours, and then we'd go back and dig it up and have another wine party, you know, have us a party. And it tasted like lemonade, because sheep sorrels are kind of sour like lemons, and by the time, of course, they didn't age a long time, but we could still tell that it tasted like lemonade. But we'd have so much fun playing like that. Mary Ann was and is one of my dearest. Well, when she started to school, like I said, I know my mother was thrilled when she was pregnant with me, because she's 18 months older than me. But anyway, we were so near the same age, and when Mary Ann started to school, I just could hardly stand it. And I probably bawled every day to go to school. And finally, in November, I turned 5, and they let me start to kindergarten, only they called it primary. They called it primary. So I got to go that last semester, and I was telling Mary Ann about this yesterday, and she said, I know, and I was so glad when we got to go to school together. But I could read because Mary Ann had already taught me how to read. And so I didn't really learn much that first, but at least I was in school, and I loved that. And I still love school, because up until this year, I have taught life lessons at Hillsdale School to the 6th graders. One of the joys of my life. When they called and asked if I would do that, I thought, oh. And because I have a degree, but I never used it, never needed to. I worked for a neurosurgeon. But anyway, when they asked me, and I met these kids, and I teach anything I want to teach. We taught flag etiquette, and making bread, and making all kinds of good things, and just general manners, and thank you notes, and we made wooden crosses and painted them. And I tell you, some of them were just beautiful when I thought kindergarten. But anyway, they really showed me up because they were so pretty. But for 4 years, it was just wonderful. Well, when I got to go to school, I had, guess what? A big chief tablet and a yellow pencil. And I was ready to go to school. So anyway, but I was talking. So I have my 2nd grade reader. Did anybody use this orange reader? Okay. And then I have my mother's reader, which was Wheeler's graded readers. And you know, the words they use in this are nothing like 2nd graders learn. Now this is, I would almost say 5th or 6th grade. I was surprised at it. And then I have my and then a book of poems, James Whitcomb Riley, from I think 18-something. They put this in Roman numerals, and you never know, but 1887. Well, that was just before Grandma was born. Then I have her other readers that are Shakespeare. And this is children's Shakespeare, and the pictures in here are just gorgeous. Please, when we're finished, come up and look at them. It says, on December the 25th, 1898, from Mr. and Mrs. Sigler. I have no idea who that is. I don't know if she was their Sunday school teacher or their neighbors or what, but this is just gorgeous. And then another one from about that same era. And it's unbelievable what the stories they have. But if you ever saw beautiful picture books, it's the pictures that they have in these. They could be taken out and framed and make a beautiful bedroom for somebody. Okay. I love to cook. I love to write about cooking. I just like to cook, and boy, do I like to eat, don't I? Wasn't this good tonight? This was wonderful. Well, when I used to go to Grandma's, she acted like she did everything for me, but basically she didn't. She just did what she always did, and I thought she was just doing it for me. Well, anyway, she would, like if she said we were going to clean the cellar, I thought, oh boy, she said that just until I got here. Well, anyway, but Grandma would make biscuits and would put 3 fingers in it and cut the biscuits. I was so envious. I love to cook. So Grandpa made me a cookie cutter
that 3 fingers would fit in. And I enjoy it now because when Landry comes, my great-granddaughter, she uses this cookie cutter. And it's probably made out of something that probably poison you. I don't know, but it's that. I don't know what this gray metal is, but it's priceless to me. It is priceless to me because Grandma and I could make, and she'd make and then I'd get the little places in between, and it was wonderful. I loved it. I got another. Oh, let me share this with you first. These recipes were Mama's when Daddy and Mother first got married. My mother was only 16 years old, and am I running out of time?
You're fine.
Okay. Don't say that, Ann. I'm sorry you said that.
Well, you said our preacher talks on.
Oh, he talked. Well, if Coach can talk that long, I can too. I knew him first as a coach over at Hillsdale, and I thought, I ought to know him from someplace, but if he'd been screaming at kids, I'd have known who he was. But anyway, Mother was 16 and Daddy was 20, and I cannot imagine my Grandpa Meeker signing the papers. Maybe there weren't those laws, but anyway, they married that young, you know that wasn't going to last. But Daddy was through college by the time he was 20 and was teaching school, and Grandpa thought, he'll take care of my daughter. So anyway, so that Mother wrote off recipes on just tablet paper, and they're just so brittle they were falling apart. And so a lady took them and did this to them, which is probably ruins them, but I don't care. Potato soup. Just cocoa cupcakes. I was going to find some of these at Raisin Drop Cookies. But anyway, what I did, after Daddy had shirts that laid in the drawer for forever, they say, oh, thanks for the shirt, and then they put it in the drawer till they need it sometime, and it never happened. So I started making these recipes of Mama's, and for Christmas or whatever, and I'd always copy the recipe and put it with it, and he said, you cook just like Mama did. You cook just, well, I wish I did. But these are just precious, and I have, here's one, jellies, okay? You can write this down if you want to. Grape gel, -2-1. That means 2 parts of the juice and 1 part of sugar, I guess. Then here's another one, apple butter. Oh, whoever made the apple butter back there? Oh, that was wonderful. I wish I hadn't had all that other stuff, just eating that. Anyway, apple butter is 1A. I presume that's apples. 1G, what do you suppose that one is? I don't know. And 1S, that would be sugar. So the G must be, I don't know. But anyway, peach jelly is 2-in-1. So if you want to make Mama's recipe, and none of the recipes had of Grandma's or Mother's had any kind of instructions with them, nothing. It just gave the sugar and the this and the this, but it didn't say when to mix or when not to mix or whatever, or how long to bake it or what temperature in the oven. But I can remember, because I learned to cook on a wood stove, and I can remember Grandma sticking her hand in the oven, and she'd say, yeah, that's just right, and she'd put the biscuits in, and they were perfect. They were perfect. Now I can burn something with an electric range that's all set and automatic. But anyway, so there's those recipes. Here's another guessing game. Okay, this I'm sure is just an old sugar bowl, but this is the giveaway. Someone tell me what this is for. Everlasting yeast. Remember everlasting yeast? I'm from Pawnee, and I was over at a parade or something over there, and a lady came up to me and she said, aren't you Peggy Greasel? And well, yeah, I haven't been for 60 years, but yeah, that's, in a hometown, you're always your name. And she said, I just want you to know that I'm still using your mother's everlasting yeast after all these years. And Mother, I can't remember the exact year she died, but it's been a long, long time. But just to think that Mother's yeast, they just keep adding flour and sugar to it, and she's used it all these years. And I'd love to go over and get some of it. I'd probably kill it, but it's just the idea. It's just the idea that something they got from my mother is probably a neighbor, probably a young bride or something that got this, and it was still alive. Well, as I told you, I was raised in an era where there was no money to be had. And after Mama died, we were going through some stuff in a cedar chest that Daddy had made for Mother, and we found this $5 bill. Well, you couldn't spend it for anything now. But anyway, I had it framed, and for years it hung in the bank there at Pawnee, because that's a whole nother evening, is because Daddy was friends with the Indians. When Daddy was 4 years old, his best little friend was a Pawnee Indian that spoke no English. Daddy spoke no Pawnee, so they learned from each other. And Daddy ended up being sort of their banker, because they could trust Daddy, and Daddy could understand them and knew, what they wanted. Well, anyway, so, that's about to fall apart. I better fix that. Anyway, so this hung in the bank where he had done so much banking, and when they rebuilt the new bank, they gave Daddy the cornerstone and the brass thing of the bank, because he had helped them convert the Indians to banking. They didn't trust any white people with their wampum, and I don't blame him. But anyway, then after it hung in the bank, after Daddy passed, I got this, and it hangs in my bedroom to remind us, what would $5 buy now? He said, Mother and I saved this so that if one of our kids ever got sick and we didn't have the money, we'd have the money to pay the doctor. Now, this one might buy one pill now, if we're lucky. But isn't this wonderful that they had the forethought to do that? And like I said, I didn't know we were poor until we started going through things, and I realized how hard it must have been to have children in that day and time. And when Daddy gave me, as he gave all of us, there were 7 of us kids, and he and Mother gave land to every one of us. And I said, "Oh, Daddy, you're so generous." And he said, "No, I'm not." He said, "Every one of you kids worked. From the time we were this big, we had chores to do. My job when I was about 3 or 4 was to feed the little kittens in a little saucer and gather up cobs or chips to start the fire in the morning, And I thought, boy, how important. Mother made me think I was just the most important thing, because you don't want to get up to a cold house and the kittens can't starve. But, it bothers me now when people, and I think I mentioned that earlier, that they pay kids to be something, and to us it was just being part of the family. Everyone had a job, and everyone worked at it, and everybody did their job and contributed to the family. But anyway, that's the story of my life in, 30 minutes, whatever it takes. Now, I could go on for 2 hours. If anybody has questions about anything, I take questions or comments. If anybody wants to come up and look at these, you're welcome to.
What is that stuff that you put in a jar and then you drank it?
Oh, my sheep shower wine? Well, it is sorrel, and it grows wild. It's just a little flower, and.
Is it a yellow blossom on it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is it sheep shower? It's called a sheep shower.
Yeah, sheep shower.
Well, but it wasn't
It
truly
had a tiny little
leaf. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. But. Pardon? Oh, the flour, and we just pinched off a little bit of the top, and it looked like lemonade even. But she says that she called them sheep showers too, but I think the word is sorrel.
Probably so.
But I don't care what the real name is. We called it sheep shower wine, so that was good enough for me. But anyway, Marianne and I had so many good times. I remember. And it was probably Marianne's idea, but anyway, we didn't really run off. We just kind of wandered off and to the down just well, you don't know where the barn was, but anyway, just north of the barn for a little way, probably 2 blocks, where some real pretty rocks and a little creek ran into it, and Mother couldn't see us down there. She could, any place else we were climbing trees, she could see us, but she couldn't see us. Well, when she spotted us, she got a little peach switch. Have you ever heard a peach switch go? Well, I don't remember that she ever switched us, but I remember if we slowed down, we just bawled all the way to the house. But I can remember all she had to do was just and like that, up in the air, and we just kind of sing, and boy, you just ran faster. Oh, well, I'm getting way, way, way off the subject, and I hope this doesn't go on TV, some of the things that we did. But anyway, it has just been pure joy to come and talk to you all. It's so fun for me to share some of my memories, and come to my house sometime and we can spend days and weeks and years going through everything in my house, because everything has a story. But it has been a pleasure to share some of my memories, and wonderful, wonderful memories that I have with you all. So thank you very much.
Makes you want to go home and dig in your cedar chest and get out all those neat things and write down those memories, like she said. Yeah.
And right on the bottom of things, who they go to. And when I have written just story after story of some of the things that I have, because
They won't be valuable for anybody, but they'll be fun to know that it belonged to a grandma or somebody. And I have quite a collection of white ironstone. And my granddaughter said to me one day, she said, "Grandma, I just never can find ironstone anywhere." And I said, "Why can't I?" And she said, "Grandma, you have it all." but I don't. But anyway.
That's great. How many of you have already written on things to give to your kids? Let's see your hands. Yeah, there's a bunch of people that have already done that.
And write a story about it. Like, somebody's just going to look at this raggedy old quilt and think, "That, I don't want that in my house, my pretty house." But if they know the story of it and a little bit about it, because they can't possibly remember all these stories I tell any more than you all can. So write a little story about it, and you don't have to put it in the paper, just write a story.
That's wonderful. Let's give her another hand. She did great. You had a lot of fun. All right, before we adjourn tonight, we kind of want to go through and see who all's here tonight. So I've got a list here. Hillsdale Bible Church. Wave your hand. Right back there. All right, good job. All right. And we have Piedmont Methodist Church. There's Brody's mom, and she came all the way from Piedmont tonight. So, okay, Christian Church of the Covenant. Look, a whole table of them. Woohoo! That's great. Cross Point in Enid. Where's our Cross Point? Oh, one person. Good job. Good job. Did you come with those Church of the Covenant ladies? Did you come with them?
I did. She
Good.
used to be my neighbor.
Used to be your neighbor. All right. We're glad you brought her. Okay. Lutheran Church from Alva. Right up here. All right. Okay. Waukeeta. All right. Back there. Waukeeta. Are you Waukeeta Christian too? Okay. All right. Very good. And Jet Methodist. There we have a couple right over here. Cleo Christian. Right there. Well, good for you guys, 4 of you. Now, have I missed any church?
you missed my niece and her friend,
Oh, Alva.
Alva.
What church?
Church, but I know that Dina would go to church there, because
Yes, I do go to church.
good girl.
We're glad you go to church, yeah. And what church?
The Nash.Church.
Baptist Church. Okay. She teaches at the college, too. I just learned that. She teaches math. So, head of the math department. Woohoo! All right. Okay, we're happy you're here tonight, too. Have I missed anybody else? Okay, how about Nash Christian waving your hands? Okay, there we go. All right. There we go. Okay. Well, we're just so happy you're here tonight, and we just have a few little door prizes that we'd like for somebody to win and take home tonight. So, Peggy, give me a number.
16.
16. Karen's our tabulator over here. How about a 16?
It would be Dana Walker.
Dana Walker. Okay. Dina, how about that? Go pick out a door prize right there. You get to choose. Okay, and Dina, tell me a number. Math teacher ought to be able to have a number, huh?
You want prime or?
How about elementary? 7. Do we have a 7?
It is Sue Barrientos from Piedmont Methodist.
All right. Brody's mom. Oh, all right. Okay, super. Don't tell them? Okay. Okay. I can't tell you. Okay. All right. Hey, Sue, give us a number.
12.
12.
Esther McIver from Luther.
Hester, all right, from the Lutheran Church in Alva. All right. Esther, do you want to go pick out a prize over there? She brought her husband tonight, too. Corky McIver. Corky, everybody ought to know. Go up to that. Go up to that table right over there. Yeah, yeah. Good choice, huh? Yeah. Esther, can you give me a number? 4. Oh, just jump on down.
Okay, that would be Kay Churchill.
Kay Churchill. All right, Kay. While you're going up there, Kay, give me a number.
38.
38. Woohoo. Okay.
Mary Ann Aller is number 30.
Mary Ann Aller. Oh, hey, Mary Ann, right here in Nash. Great, Mary Ann. While you're going, Mary Ann, give me a number. I think we have one more, don't we? Or is that it?
I think that's it.
That's it. Okay. Oh no, we got 2 more.
Okay.
We got 2 more. Number 3. Just
Is, let me see here. Anita, I'm sorry, I can't read.
where's Anita?
From Alva?
From Alva.
Is this
There you go, Anita. All right. Okay, Anita. Oh, pig. Well, I guess she's down to that. Anita, give me a number. 10.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything over there.
Yes, there is.
Carolyn Beats from Cleo Christian.
All right, Carolyn. And Carolyn wins Peggy's book tonight. All right. She donated that tonight, so come on up. All right. That's wonderful. Thank you, Peggy, for doing that. Yeah. And she's very modest about that, but she does sell this book, and she brought a couple more copies if anybody would like one, right?
Right, but
Oh.
I'll sell them outside on the porch. but not-
Okay, she won't sell them in the church because she doesn't believe in that, huh? Okay, thank you. And once again, thank you all for coming. We've enjoyed having all of you. We don't get to see you all except when we do things like this, and it's been a year. So anyway, okay, Matt, would you like to dismiss us? Okay.
Because she died when she was 103, and I want her to show her grandchildren.
All right. You know, as I was sitting here tonight, I tell you, some of the Christian women in my life have been the greatest influencers. You know, I think about my grandmother, my mom, the ladies here. I get a little emotional, get a little choked up thinking about it, but Peggy, you brought back a lot of good memories from my childhood. So, I tell you, it's a beautiful, beautiful fellowship. Beautiful fellowship when people can get together and just share memories of happy days, happy times. And it's funny that you can find them in the toughest times, right? Some of the greatest joys come from some of the most challenging times in our life. And those stories you shared tonight were beautiful, so thank you. All right, please join me, and we'll close with a word of prayer. Gracious and Heavenly Father, we thank you for this fellowship tonight and all those that you brought here. We're so full of the joy of your Spirit here tonight. Father, it's when we look back and we see those times when things seemed kind of difficult and challenging, that we find the true important things in our lives, the love of our family, the love of our fellow neighbors, the love of a stranger reaching out. And Father, we felt the embodiment of that tonight as Peggy shared those memories and those stories. And so, Father, I just pray that you would continue to build up this fellowship, bring unity here. We heard of people coming from so many different places, so many different churches. And Father, that's really what it's all about. The body is composed of so many different people. Your body is so vast, created by so many precious children of God. And Father, we see the manifestation of that here tonight. So Father, I just pray that you would continue the good work that you began here. And each of us, as we go our separate ways, that we would continue to carry the beauty of the gospel message in our lives and how we conduct ourselves, the stories we share, the witness and the testimony that we give about that precious love that you poured out for us on that cross. So Lord, please be with us as we go our separate ways. Protect us. May you have a hedge of protection around each of us. And Father, bring us back together again next year for a wonderful occasion to share the memories and the joys that you've put in our lives and the loving fellowship that you've put here. We praise you for it and we thank you in Christ's name. Amen.
Yes, I'm glad you said that. Man, grab that sack right there. Okay. We have free tomatoes tonight. And she has, there they are, and she's got some little brown sacks in here. You can sack them up and take them home with you. They're homegrown. Yeah, right. Okay, and travel safely. Watch